I rise this morning to urge the Senate to pass the Caregivers and Veterans Omnibus Health Service Act of 2009. Chairman Akaka has done a great job of explaining the particulars of this bill. I thank him and Senator Burr for their leadership in our committee. I could also echo Senator Akaka in explaining the reasons to vote for better health care for this country's veterans, but instead, I'm going to boil it down to one reason. Mr. Chairman, we promised it. We promised it to all the men and women who served in our military. We promised it just as we promised our troops the resources that they need when they're in battle. This isn't a vote about politics or partisanship. It's about living up to the pledge that we made to all our veterans. Montana's a rural state, which means that all 100,000 veterans there are rural veterans. Many of them live in frontier communities. Sadly, that means they have a tougher time getting the health care they've earned. Many of them still have to pay out-of-pocket travel expenses to get to a VA hospital for their health care. You know, according to some studies, veterans who live in rural America don't live as long as veterans who live in urban places. That's not only sad, it's disgraceful, and it's unacceptable. This bill contains provisions that I included with the help of the rural veterans and veteran service organizations in Montana, and a vote for this bill is a vote to give veterans in rural America and frontier communities better access to health care. A vote for this bill will lock in an acceptable VA mileage reimbursement rate for disabled veterans who have long distance to travel to get to a VA hospital. A vote for this bill will authorize the VA to award grants to veteran service organizations that drive veterans to their medical appointments. In a place like Montana, we'd be in pretty tough shape without the dozens of volunteers who make that sort of thing happen. A vote for this bill will also improve health care in Indian country, and it will improve mental health care for rural veterans. Madam President, last week, over Veterans Day, I had the honor of attending events across Montana. I had the opportunity to say thank you to our veterans, as we should do every day. A lot of veterans that I spoke with last week made it clear to me that we still have a lot of work to do to live up to the promises that we've made to our fighting men and women. This legislation isn't the be-all and end-all, but it is a big step forward, and it is a result of putting politics aside and working together to do right by all the men and women who have served our country. Madam Chairman, passing this legislation is living up to a promise. It's common sense, and that's why I urge my colleagues to support it.